Welcome. I am Deborah Giles, your host of I Too Have a Voice. In the last few months, I've experienced a milestone birthday, and even more so, I've seen a lot of deaths. And since that time, I have been reflecting on what I've done in my life and wondering whether what I've done is leaving more to this world than I've taken. I've reflected on those who I've come in contact with over my lifetime. Have I poured into them, or did I take without leaving my imprint? And my imprint was a kind word or gesture. And in the words of Dr. Maya Angelou, will they remember me for how I made them feel? In all of those thoughts and feelings, I decided it was time to pen a letter to my future self. So, on today's podcast, I would like to share part of that letter. Of course, those of you who really know me personally know that the letter to my future self is certainly longer than what I'm sharing. And, of course, I had to redact some parts that are a little more personal. So, here it goes. Dear self, as I write this letter, I find myself reflecting on the life I have lived so far, not with regret, but with gratitude. I can honestly say that I have no regrets because every experience, every triumph, every setback, every lesson has shaped the woman I have become. Still, if there is one thing I hope, it is that I never settled for good enough. I hope I always found ways to do a little more, love a little deeper, serve a little longer, and leave every place better than I found it. More than success, I hope I have built a legacy. I hope that you realize that your legacy was not built by one experience or incident, but it was written every single day through the choices you made and the people who you met along the way, even when they were not aware of it. Not a legacy measured in titles or accomplishments or recognition, but one measured by lives touched. Although I may never have had biological children, I pray that I have poured my wisdom, my love, my encouragement, my guidance into someone else's child. I hope there are young people who stand a little taller because I believed in them, dreamed with them, and reminded them of their worth. If my name is ever remembered, I hope it is because I helped someone become who they were meant to be. If life has blessed me with a husband, I hope our marriage has been filled with laughter and love and grace and unwavering friendship. I know every relationship experiences seasons, but I hope the good days far outweigh the bad ones. I hope we created traditions, collected unforgivable memories, and chose each other every single day. Most of all, I hope our love reflected patience and kindness and forgiveness and joy and grace. Wherever life has taken you professionally, I hope you embraced every opportunity with courage and humility and an open heart. I pray you answered the calling of God that He placed on your life, even when the path was so uncertain, so stressful, required so much faith than certainty. I hope you never settled for what was comfortable when God was calling you to something greater. I hope you had an opportunity to witness the fulfillment of Jeremiah 29:11, that promise for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope. and a future. I pray you trusted those words, truly trusted those words, not only in seasons of abundance, but also in seasons and moments of waiting and disappointment and hurt and pain and uncertainty, knowing that his plans were always working for your good. I hope you came to understand that true prosperity was never measured by the size of your bank account, the titles before your name, or the recognition you received. Instead, I hope you discovered that your greatest wealth was found in the lives you impacted, the doors you opened for others, the hope you inspired, and the love you gave so freely. I pray that every position you held became a platform for service, every achievement an opportunity to glorify God, and every success a reminder that your purpose was always greater than yourself. I hope your legacy is not defined by what you accumulated, but by what you poured into others. The wisdom you shared, the encouragement you offered, the opportunities you created, and the lives that are forever different, forever changed, forever impacted, because you chose to answer God's call. If your journey has taught you anything, I hope it is that God's definition of success has always been far richer than the world's. A life of purpose, a life of faithfulness, a life of generosity, and a life of service is the greatest prosperity, the greatest blessing anyone could ever possess. I hope my family and friends have never questioned how deeply they were loved by me. I hope I celebrated their victories, comforted them in their losses, and showed up when it mattered most. I hope they remember not just the things I said, but the way I made them feel safe and valued and cherished and loved. I also hope that when people speak of my life, they can honestly say that I gave more than I took. I hope my community is stronger because I was a part of it. I hope I used my gifts, my voice, my influence, and certainly my time to create opportunities to inspire hope and stand for justice for all. I hope I invested in people who could never repay me, but I understood that true wealth is found in the generosity that I gave. I hoped that I never stopped learning, I never stopped growing, I never stopped striving, and I never stopped believing that one person can, in fact, make a difference in someone's life. I hope truly I remained humble enough to listen, courageous enough to lead, and compassionate enough to care for those who were often overlooked. I hope that somewhere along the way, you made time to see the world. Traveling has always been one of your heart's deepest desires, and I pray you honored that dream. I hope you chose faith over fear, allowing your curiosity to guide every step into places once only imagined. I hope you stood in awe of the breathtaking landscapes, wandered through streets so rich in history, and tasted cuisines you never thought you would ever enjoy. I hope you met people from every walk of life, people who were curious about your skin color, your hair, and your story. I hope you encountered those who embraced you because of your uniqueness and those who embraced you in spite of their differences. May each journey have reminded you that God's creation is vast and beautiful and glorious and wonderfully diverse, and that you belong wherever he leads you. As a little girl, you were raised in the church. You heard the prayers of your mother and your grandmother. You sang the songs of Zion and learned that faith would be your anchor. I hope that over the years, your relationship with God has grown deeper than tradition and stronger than your circumstances. I pray that your walk with him has become more intimate with each passing season. Most of all, I hope you have learned to extend to yourself the same grace that God has always extended to you. I hope you have forgiven yourself for the mistakes you've made and released the weight of sins that Christ has already forgiven. I pray you no longer carry guilt that was never meant to define you. Instead, I hope you walk confidently in the freedom and the peace and the purpose that come from knowing you are loved and redeemed and made new. If life has taught you anything, I hope it is this: God has been faithful in every step of the way. Even when you couldn't see his hand, he was directing your path. Even when you questioned his timing, he was preparing you for something greater. I hope your faith today is not just something you inherited, but something you have lived and you have tested and you've tried and you witnessed for yourself. I hope you remember that Ephesians 2:8, for by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not for yourself, it is a gift from God. If you're reading this years from now, I hope that you're smiling and your heart is filled with peace and joy, not because life was perfect, but because it was meaningful. I hope you can look back knowing that you loved well, served faithfully, and lived intentionally. And if there is still time, remember this: there is always another life to encourage, always another dream to support, always another kindness to offer, always another memory to make. Legacy is not something you leave only at the end of your life. It is something that you build every single day. For I hope you remember that Rome was not built in a day, but they laid a brick every day. So keep loving, keep serving, keep believing, keep giving, keep praying, keep trusting, keep making your parents proud, and keep standing on your faith. May your greatest accomplishments never be what you achieved, but what you hoped to become. With hope and faith and love, your younger self. I encourage you today to write a letter to your future self. I am Deborah Giles, your host of I Too Have a Voice. Until next time, farewell. I too have a voice.